Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I hope that you all are safe in these times of pandemic. In our continuous effort to create awareness of apprenticeship program, we are happy to bring the third session on promotion of apprenticeship program from MEPSC in association with our partner IWIL. I am Santosh from Management and Entrepreneurship and Professional Skill Council. I will be the host for the day, assisted by the team at MEPSC at the back end, and I will on carrying forward this webinar. Let me thank you all again to join this webinar on a weekday during working hours. This itself shows the commitment of the industry, academia, the third-party aggregators, and training partners towards the apprenticeship program, which is going to be the way forward in building good workforce for the future. I also wanted to have a special mention for the academicians of Raksha Shakti University, who has always stood with us for our various initiatives. As you all know, the Apprenticeship Act was enacted by the Indian Parliament in 1961 in form of a bill. The act has been amended time to time, and it is also to mention that the recent amendments in the rules have made it more industry friendly. To discuss this scenario and enlighten the industry, academia, third-party aggregators, and the training partners, we at MEPSC along with IWIL is organizing this online session. Today, while we speak, we have approximately 315 registered participants with approximately 125 people on board as of now in this virtual meeting. Thank you all for taking out your valuable time and joining us to hear the eminent speakers of the day. Now, without taking much of time, let me introduce our speakers one by one, and I would request each of the speakers to come on video. Though all of them are stalwarts and need no introduction of mine, still as a formality, I will keep on doing that. They are well known for their efforts in building the skill ecosystem. Today we have Shri Ashok Shahane, Deputy Chief Skill Development from Larsen & Toubro Limited, who will deliver his views on industry perspective of apprenticeship program. Sir, if you can come online for a minute. Then we have Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal, the Chief Executive Officer of MEPSC, to deliver the academia perspective of apprenticeship program. And we are fortunate to have Mr. Vasu Sarma, a senior member from Apprenticeship Division from National Skills Development Corporation, to deliver on policy makers' perspective in this program today. So just before we begin, I just wanted to humbly request all attendees to keep their microphones on mute and direct their queries through chat box. This will help us to smoothly conduct the webinar today. Now, let us first hear the first speaker of the day. May I now welcome Mr. Vasu Sarma to come over and enlighten the entire attendees on the apprenticeship program. Vasu, all yours now.
Thank you, Santosh.
I just before you actually begin, Vasu,
yes,
as a founding member of Apprenticeship Division, Vasu is managing the implementation of apprenticeship program in India. He has participated in forming the revised guidelines, the operational frameworks, and enhancing the portal to incorporate the new industry-friendly reforms in the program. He started his career at a leading consulting firm, working on strategic projects for companies across the globe. He is a bachelor degree holder in economics from University of Delhi, Hansraj College, and then MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. I just wanted to leave it at there and hear from you what this program is all about, and then how can industry get into it.
Thank you, Santosh. Mr. Pokhriyal, Mr. Shahane, it's nice to be with you on the panel, and to all the attendees, thank you for joining in. The idea behind my presentation would be to A, educate you on the program, and B, also tell you why apprenticeship is a business case, even more relevant now in today's scenario. So I'll just share my screen. Santosh, you can let me know once it's visible.
You can.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right. So as you know, this is a big irony in our country. If you go on the demand side, talk to any CXO level person in the country, they will be like, we need skilled people, employment ready people, but we are not able to find them. On the supply side, the irony is that we have a huge supply of youth who are either dropouts or have completed their education but are not employable. And this is an irony that are I think somebody needs to go on mute. There's some, yeah. So this is, I think, a big irony in our country right now, because we are going through our demographic dividend, the 40-50 years of the advantage that we have in our country, where we have a more younger population, and we are not effectively able to capitalize on it. And in that context, apprenticeship is probably the only demand-driven program where the industry is taking the front foot, taking apprentices in their organization, making them go through an apprenticeship program. Yeah, through that, train the apprentices and make them employable in the industry. Moving on. So this is what the apprenticeship program looks like. There are two components. One is a basic training, classroom theory program. The other one is on-the-job training, which is actual practical training that happens on the premises of the establishment. On the right-hand side, you'll see it's actually a law. Apprenticeship is a law that a lot of companies are not aware of. So if you have 30 or more employees in your organization, it is mandatory to take apprentices in the band of 2.5 to 15%. If there are 4 to 29 employees, it is optional. And 0 to 3, you are not eligible to take apprentices. So according to the Apprentices Act of 1961, taking apprentices is mandatory. Now, this slide talks about the different stipend levels that companies need to, the minimum stipend levels that companies need to pay the apprentices while their apprenticeship program training is going on. So the minimum is 5,000, which will be for a class 5th to 9th pass. 10th pass will get about 6,000, 12th will get about 7, and so on and so forth. It goes to 9,000. However, please keep in mind that if a company is present in a state or a city where the cost of living is high, or you think that the kind of work that you're making the apprentice do is slightly more technical, then we always advise that you should give them a higher stipend rate, which is probably equal to the market rate. Because it'll be easier for them to sustain through the apprenticeship program. Some basics of the program: 2.5 to 15% of your workforce you can take as apprentices. The apprentices program, they vary from 6 months to 36 months, depending on the technical, how technical the program is. So if you have a sales executive course, that could range maybe in 6 months to 9 months. But if you have a more technical course in the, say, in the automotive industry or the capital goods industry, you would have about 2 years, 24 months of course. A lot of the management courses are 12 months, for instance. So depending on how technical the course is, the duration differs. What we've also done is that we've actually created curriculums for almost all entry-level job roles. Actually, every training will follow a curriculum because it mentions all the learning criterias that a company needs to impart to an apprentice, and it's like a guidebook that you follow throughout your apprenticeship training. Now, what we've actually done is that we've created some 500 ready-made courses for the industry, which probably cover all entry-level job roles. that's an activity you don't need to do. Straight off, you go to the apprenticeship portal, you register yourself, you select candidates, and you sign a contract with them, and you get started. However, a lot of times companies come and say that there is a custom made tailored curriculum that we want to make for our company, and we allow that as well. So in optional trades, we give that flexibility to companies to create their own curriculums. As I just mentioned about the portal, the entire apprenticeship program is completely automated on the apprenticeship portal, right from registration to screening of candidates, to registering your training center if you're giving basic training, signing of the contract, monitoring of the contract. We have a monetary incentive scheme which I'll talk about for the industry, even to claim that everything is on the portal. So it's completely automated. We do not expect any company to submit any hard paper or take any approval or come to any office. It is completely automated. And what we've also done is, it is very important for the industries to know what sector skill councils are. Now, sector skill councils are industry representative bodies. We have about 38 in India, and they're essentially industry representative bodies. So what the government has done is that instead of appointing somebody from the government side to overlook the apprenticeship program in the industries, they have made the CEO of the sector skill council as the person who's going to see if everything is going fine. So essentially, an industry's representative is the apprenticeship advisor to the industry. So this is a very progressive step that the government has taken. They understand that it's a completely industry driven program, so will require a lot of professionalism, will require a lot of private mindset that somebody in the private space will understand. And that is why we've the government has taken a stance to actually not make the industries go through the government procedures, but let the joint apprenticeship advisor, who's the CEO of the sector skill council, handle this. So for instance, if any of the companies over here take any course in the management, which belongs to the management sector, there are a lot of courses in the finance, HR, office, general courses that anybody can take across industries. You could be across industries. You could be the automotive industry, retail industry, yet you might have requirements for apprentices in your HR department, finance department. If you end up taking any apprentices in any curriculum which is in the management sector, Mr. Pokhriyal will be your apprenticeship advisor and will guide you through, and will also keep a check on whether the training is going fine. Right. So some legalities you want to know: apprentices are not covered under the label.
We'll request the audience to be on their mute, please.
Thank you. So, right. Essentially what happens is that apprentices are not covered under the labor laws. Hence, companies are not required to pay them EPF and ESI. So whereas this does come as an immediate cost saving, companies tend to look at this as a cost saving. However, we always advise that a company should take a group insurance policy, because they are still covered under the Workmen's Compensation Act. There is also a CSR note by MCA that says that if a company is taking apprentices in the minimum band, which is 2.5% of their workforce, any additional apprentices that they take beyond that can actually be covered in their CSR budget. This note is on the apprenticeship portal, the URL for which is apprenticeshipindia.org. So do go there, and you will find most information about the program there. Now this is the financial incentive scheme that I was talking about, the National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. The government actually incentivizes. Now, understand this about the apprenticeship program that a lot of industries don't, is that even without an incentive scheme, it is a very, very, very attractive and a big business model, a business case for companies to take apprentices. In some of the slides, I will also show you why it's a business case. There is immense ROI. There is a lot of benefits that come with it, both financial and intangibles. And on top of
ये
that,
वो बीटी दिखा
the
रहा है
government is giving reimbursements, is giving financial.
सर लोगों को देखा चलता है ना कि सर लोग हैं
I think, yeah. So government is
ज्वाइन तो की
giving,
हूँ तो दिखाना तो चाहिए तो नहीं दिखा
I
रहा
think
है
you have to, yeah. So there is a financial, a basic training reimbursement that the government gives to the companies. So the governments will get, the companies will get about 7,500 for 3 months per candidate that they take when they undergo basic training or the classroom training. And as a, as against the stipend that companies paying, I had showed you the stipend in one of the previous slides. As against the stipend that the companies are paying to the apprentice, government will give reimbursement of 1,500 rupees per month per apprentice. So this is a very attractive scheme that the government has produced, which completely your cost benefit analysis of apprenticeship, your ROI becomes absolutely very, very high if you also take this into account. Right. So right, a lot of candidates who are slightly more educated, say ITI or are graduates or are pursuing, they can straight away join OJT and they're exempt from basic training. Basic training is typically for freshers, like school drop, school, 12th, 10th pass, 12th pass, or if somebody is going into a more technical course, then they'll have to go through basic training. Otherwise, for a lot of candidates who've studied to a level, basic training is exempt for them and they can straight away start working on your shop floor. So a lot of people say, why not internship, apprenticeship? Well, conceptually they can be similar, but there are a lot of differences. There is no written contract in a lot of apprentices. Apprenticeship has a structured training. It has a legal framework. There is a basic training. There is on-the-job training. And at the end, there is a certification and assessment and certification guaranteed. So it's a more structured way of going about it, and also leads to enhanced employability of the person of the apprentice in that sector. So this is the portal, apprenticeshipindia.org. It's a very intuitive, very easy to know portal. We have user manuals, we have user guide videos also that you can just refer to, follow the steps, and you'll be able to do everything on the portal. As I said, right from registering to selection of candidates, to contract generation, to monitoring, to applying for reimbursement under NAPS, everything is automated and happens on the portal. I'm going to skip some slides. Now, there is a concept called TPAs, third-party aggregators. Now, what are TPAs? The government, we understood that, a lot of companies might want to take apprentices, but might not have a resource or might need some hand-holding in, say, mobilizing candidates or managing the portal or assuring that the training is going as per schedule, etc. So we've empowered some bodies called third-party aggregators who will give you services based on the kind of services. So this is a list of services provide. They will mobilize candidates for you. They will arrange basic training if required. They will, if you want to take basic training in-house in your office premises, then they will get approval for that. They will, if a industry wants to create their own course, they will help you with that, portal management, etc. So they help you across the board. And of course, they come with, they charge something, they have a revenue model where they'll charge you something per candidate. The list of government approved, ministry approved TPAs are there on the portal. You can wish to take their services, and they make the entire process slightly easier than it already is. Now, just going to, this is something that I'll show you very interestingly, and wanted to show you this trend. This is optional trades, the program that NSDC handles. Now you can see March, we reached about 15,000 contracts. Of course, in April, May, there was a lockdown. And by July, if you see, there has been such consistent growth after May and June, about 180%, and from June to July, about 60%. We actually reached pre-pandemic levels. Now, why is this happening? And why, are we seeing such interesting numbers in such a time? What happening is what's happening, and I spoke to some industries myself. A lot of companies, industries are now understanding the real value of apprenticeship and the ROI that comes with it. There has been reverse migration. Companies had to shut shops. They had to close their factory. Suddenly, the economy started opening up. They were opening at capacity before. Now they want a lot of the companies are hitting 100%. Now, where are you going to get labor from? And secondly, you want people that will stay with you. And there's a lot of research and a lot of analysis done as to how the attrition, retention is more. Attrition is lower in the apprenticeship pool of people you take. They are more motivated. They are more dedicated. And of course, they come at a lower cost to the company. So all in all, it is a big for the industry to take apprentices. In fact, I'll show you. This is the trend over the years of what apprenticeship in India. In 1516, we had about 1 lakh of apprentices in that year. In 1920, we have about 8.5 lakh apprentices. If you actually see the industry strength that we have in our country, you'll notice that this is still a very, very, very low number. If you see the workforce we have, the number of establishments that we have in our country, even if companies had to take 2.5% of apprentices every year, we would have at least 15 to 20 lakh apprentices in a year. Somewhere there has been resistance from the companies to take apprentices, and it being the only demand-driven program, the only program that will drive up the employability. As you can see, only about, if you see the total active establishments, there are only about 27,000 companies in India who are taking apprentices. This is a very, very low number. And we keep urging to the companies that a program that is coming with a high ROI, which is coming with a more dedicated lot of people, employees, and on top of which the government is reimbursing you, it's completely no-brainer. Industry should go for it because in my personal opinion, there is no better, a more beautiful program in India as far as skill development, demand-based skill development, industry-led skill development program is. Right. So I think I'll just skip this and I'll go to why it's a business case. If you see the box on the right hand side, on the right side below, there is productivity increases, motivation increases, retention rate increases, competitiveness increases if you have apprentices. And this is something that has been, this is a study done by ILO on a global scale, but companies in India have actually confirmed this to be true. A lot of companies who have been taking apprentices for years have confirmed that they've actually seen an increase in productivity, competitiveness, and retention rate and motivation. We've done some analysis across sectors. We've seen that the benefit to cost ratio has been very high. The company, there has been great retention, a great, benefits to cost that companies have. Almost, if you see for Lemon Tree, the benefit to cost ratio is almost 1.9x, double. So whatever company was spending on the apprentice, the benefit to cost, the benefit was equal to almost 2x of that. This was a survey that we did recently of about 100 companies, and the findings are here. About 67% of the companies see net value in apprenticeship. 50% see long-term benefits, including higher retention rates. These are very high numbers we're talking about. Benefit to cost ratios, and all these are self-reported numbers by those 100 companies taking apprentices. About 1.3 to 1.9x is the benefit to cost ratio. Companies like the apprentices so much that almost 20 to 50% of the apprentices are absorbed by the same companies. What's very interesting is that about almost 80%, 60 to 80% of the apprentices reach the desired productivity in the middle of the apprenticeship. So you imagine if you have a full-time employee at the same level of an apprentice, that apprentice coming at a stipend which is lower than what you are paying to the full-time employee, is contributing the same productivity as that employee. So imagine the gains that the company is getting by that. This is something that we did across sectors. Very high percentage of companies saw long-term value. Benefit to cost ratios were very high, 1.8, 1.9, 1.7. Apprentices were reaching full productivity from 3 months to halfway of the duration of the program. And recruitment costs, while, because a lot of them were converted into full-time employees, the companies actually saved a lot of costs by doing that. So there are a lot of HR costs, onboarding costs, training costs that companies end up saving if they run the apprenticeship program. So I think that's it that I wanted to talk about, and hope the companies are able to see good business case in this. I think there are a lot of factors at play. If we really have to reach our goal of a 5 trillion economy by 2025, I think there is a lot more initiative that the industry needs to take. We need to do something about the employability and the unemployment issue, which has become even more relevant now. And so my request to the industry is, my request to the industry is that. So my request to the industry is that please take on more apprentices, and especially for the MSME sector, who rely a lot on trained people. They undergo, they probably are doing a program like apprenticeship where somebody is joining them and they're training them, but do come through the formal channel. And so yeah, that's about it. And I think later we can take some questions if anybody has. Thank you.
Vasu, thank you so much for sharing the details of this apprenticeship program in such simple words. I'm sure attendees would adopt the apprenticeship program in a much bigger way. And I'm sure कि आपके लिए बहुत सारे questions और भी आएंगे through the chat box, which we'll take up at the later stages. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me have the privilege of calling another stalwart in the industry. He's from L&T Limited. Privileged and honored to introduce our keynote speaker today evening, Mr. Ashok Sahane. Sahane sir is an engineer by profession with over 40 years at Larsen & Toubro. He joined the company as graduate apprentice and is now the Deputy Chief Executive of Skill Development Mission of Larsen & Toubro. During his 4 decades in L&T, he occupied various senior level positions in the company as HR head of electrical business and thereafter head corporate training. He was closely connected with higher education, training and skilling, and was involved with apprenticeship development program at L&T as well. He is also an advisor to National Skill Development Corporation and is on the governing board of 2 sector skill councils. He is also actively involved in one of the sector skill council as member of their technical committee. He represents industry in various state level and national level committees. He is the convener of CII Skill Committee of Maharashtra, as well as co-convener of CII's Skill Committee of Western Region. And he headed a committee of DGET set up to revamp ITI courses. He also headed the core committee of technical and higher education of Government of Maharashtra. He is presently heading special committee of Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education. And the list of his accomplishments can continue and continue and continue. So without wasting much time, let me welcome Sahane sir and hear his journey as apprentice to where he is today at the helm of all skilling activities at L&T, and share what things he has adopted for building the apprenticeship program. Sir, the platform is yours now.
Santosh, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your introduction, Santosh. So nice of you. Vasu, I would only like to say, I am absolutely in favor of apprenticeship. But after hearing you, after seeing your presentation, I have become even more favorable to apprenticeship. What you indicated as maybe the figures across country or across nation, which you would have collected from some data, I'm going to speak more or less the same as my experience in Larsen and Toubro. Apparently, I get to see a similar kind of a thing, so I would like to share with the audience about this.
That's great, sir. Thank you.
Well, so nice. Thank you so much, Colonel Pokhriyal, Santosh, and Vinny. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be here. For two reasons. This subject is very close to my heart. The second reason is this is a program which is organized by my friends Pokhriyal ji and Vinny. And of course, there is third reason. But it's a huge audience that we have, which is really doing a great social work. My own experience or a little bit of advice is what I would be more than happy to share with all of you if it can be any good to you. Let me start with apprenticeship. Why am I so favorable to that? I joined Larsen and Toubro in 1977 as apprentice. I joined as a graduate apprentice, and I can be very frank, an amazing kind of apprenticeship program that the company runs helped me during that time itself in acquiring a lot of important kind of skills which are required for in an industry, and that helped me in growing. Believe me, my statement, you can take it. But for a apprenticeship program in Larsen and Toubro, I joined. Okay. I don't know whether I would have been at a place like this. It matters a lot during this apprenticeship program as to what kind of inputs you get. And Larsen and Toubro has been very, very careful in designing this apprenticeship program. And for decades together, the program continues. The program even continues today. And that's where I said it's very close to me. I firmly believe that in any individual's career, if the person he or she gets a good apprenticeship program in a good organization, it will make a big difference in the career of that individual. So with this, let me take you into Larsen and Toubro and share with you a couple of things about Larsen and Toubro, the programs that are run in Larsen and Toubro, what have been our experiences. Santosh, can you share these slides, please? Yeah, I would basically indicate the benefits that we got, the challenges and way forward on this. Well, Vinny shared a slide which indicated who all are covered under it. He had four types of people. Those who are continuing degree and diploma also apparently I saw. Of course, that's the only category we don't take because we are keen that they complete degree and diploma. So all the degree diploma people join Larsen and Toubro as apprentices. All ITI certified people join Larsen and Toubro as apprentices. This has been, these as all of you know, or as Vasu also shared, these are basically the designated trades under which we have been taking people. We were not taking people who had done short-term training. This, of course, is a recent development after NSDC short-term training programs, the certification, NSQF kind of certificate started coming, which is a fairly recent development. Whereas our apprentice program for graduate diploma and ITIs has been decade-old kind of program which we have been running. The other one which came up for the optional trades, that is the new one, we have got connected through CSDCI for our construction businesses. And we started taking apprentice through this route as well. In the last 2.5-3 years, we would have taken almost 6,000 to 7,000 apprentices through this route. So basically, we are firm believers that a good apprentice program can do a lot good in shaping and molding an individual very well. That's the major advantage that company gets. And almost all people continue after their apprenticeship within the company. And majority of them make a good career. quite a few of our very senior position people have come up from the position of apprentice. They would have joined apprentice and then moved onwards. Similarly, our ITI apprentices move on, and most critical jobs on shop floor. You are aware we are involved into very, very critical kind of manufacturing areas at our Hazira works. Whether it is defense, aerospace, or the others, nuclear, we are into that, and those critical jobs are handled by our ITI apprentices. CS, the short-term training and apprentice, these days I have it's a very recent development, and we are experiencing ourselves the development of these people, areas in which we take apprentice, and we have definitely got very good advantages taking them. We are in a position to take them through the recruitment is very streamlined. We go to campuses or through maybe portal or through the coordinator. We are in a position to get list of people, and that's how we select people through our interview channel and then take them through that. Can you go on to the next slide, please? Santosh, the next slide. So while the slide is changing, I would only say, on the whole, what does it mean? On the whole, it very clearly means that our experience as apprentice joining the company has definitely been good. Now, why is it only L&T? If we start looking at the general industries on the whole, well, that applies to almost all, and quite a few of the benefits. I have written only four advantages that the industries get. Vasu covered it very greatly, and he has listed out so many things. I, in particular, would like to underplay a little bit the third point, which Vasu said a lot in gets. I would say, yes, that is definitely a benefit. Look into that in case you want. But even otherwise, even without this, the apprenticeship scheme will do a lot good. You will get people who are enthusiastic,
मुझे वाइट बंद हो गया और रुक गया
I think so. We have just lost Ashok Shane sir, and we would be taking him back. Maybe because of some technical issues, we are unable to have him right now. But in the meanwhile, what you can do is, I would request everybody to keep their mics on mute. Also, we have requested if you can put across all your questions into the chat box. We have dedicated a 15-minute slot at the end of this webinar. We are going to pick up the best questions, and we will ask our panelists to address to your queries, whichever has been raised so far. In the meanwhile, while we can have Ashok Shane sir, I would request Santosh sir, if he's there, if he can take the session up. Santosh sir, am I audible?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, please.
So Shane sir has been. Shane sir dropped out because of technical problems. उनको थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल कुछ प्रॉब्लम आया है. So by the time he joined,
Santosh, I'm back. As I said many a times, what should not happen happens. So I was praying God that this doesn't happen today, but it happened right while I am speaking. Doesn't matter. Many a times such things are also good. So friends, I only would like to say that I would like to focus to a great extent on the point number 4. All points are important. You get good people at entry level, freshers. They have a lot of energy. They can be molded. There are no other acts. You take them. On the day one, if it is a 12-month kind of a thing, they are given a apprenticeship entry on the first day. After 12 months, you don't need to even separate them, is what I understand, and they just are out of your factory. While in Larsen and Toubro they continue is one of the facts, but for others this can be looked at as one of the major things. There is no question of separation; automatically get separated. Now, what is important? Look at it. Many industries, like maybe automotive industries, hugely benefit from point number 4. Let's take case of a two-wheeler company, and they would need large number of people at their service centers right across the country, whether urban areas or rural areas. Now, how does that happen? So when these people take these apprentice on their roles, they get trained by the organization, main organization, which is a great kind of a training that happens. And after completion of apprenticeship, these people move on to their partners, which really builds a very strong network of service centers and stockists or vendors for them. So I would strongly suggest, this is underplayed many a times. Others are generally conveyed by everyone. I would say, in case you have a business in which you have business partners, if you are a big organization, you may not need the people yourself. There may not be a requirement within your own organization. You may not absorb them after apprenticeship, but giving them an exposure will greatly be beneficial, because not only that individual will develop as a good individual, he will make a career, it is in the interest of company, but you can connecting with your business partners, and business partner will get benefit from it. Automatically it will be a direct benefit to you. So I would say look into many kind of advantages that industries get out of this. Goes without saying. The question that comes, let's go to the next slide, Santosh. The question that comes, as Vasu was sharing, he showed slide wherein the numbers are going up. Then he himself said that compared to where the graph should have been, the graph has not been there. It's far, the numbers are very small. Yes, why is it so? Now, a simple, my question is, if there is a benefit right across and still people are not coming forward, must be some reason. If we start looking at it, see, Apprentice Act 1961, before the amendment, quite a few of us are aware, and we used to keep ourselves away from that as much as possible. Now, quite a few people have not got over that impression. They still carry that impression of Apprenticeship Act. And it needs to be, some ambassadors really need to go to them, talk to them, give them that confidence, and then only this impression might get changed. Otherwise, they are carrying the old impression, as per which they are scared of this act, scared of interaction, scared of maybe inquiries, and scared of some notices coming to them. It is important that the dilution has been done in favor of industries, which need to be understood very clearly by all of us. And we need to convey, some of us who are ambassadors need to convey that, like Vasu did convey about it, and we need to spend time with individuals who are worried about it. That's the first part of it. The second part, extremely important, very few people, we have been used to the designated trades. For 1961 onwards, it has been all designated trades, degree, diploma, ITI, and people. But we have not been aware of non-designated trades. And also, we are not aware, the earlier designated trades, the routing was a government channel routing. Either in Maharashtra, it is BOT, then we have RDAT, we have DGT. This is the route which, these are the departments who are involved in that. Whereas when it comes to non-optional trades, it is as indicated by Vasu, NSDC, which is an industry body, and the sector skill councils of NSDC, which are also industry bodies. So instead, if you have some discomfort in dealing with government bodies, here is an opportunity for you to go to the other set of people and get yourself become comfortable. So this is also not known. It's a good step that MEPSC has taken to communicate to all the people. Please make a note of it here. If you want to get registered, online registration, and anything you need to interact on this, it is with the Sector Skill Council of MEPSC or some other relevant Sector Skill Council that you will be interacting, which many a times may give comfort to an individual compared to government. I'm not saying that the other government route is a difficult route or bad route, but some have reservations and may prefer taking the route of SSCs and NSDC. Well, the last thing I would like this to be left to Vasu and maybe Mr. Pokhriyal, Santosh and others to look into is, in the last 1.5 to 2 years, when we have been really promoting apprenticeship all across, and we talked about portal and others, people attempted logging into the portal, and we are aware we landed up with some issues on the portal. And when the problems came up, they did not know where to go, whom to talk, and how to get it resolved. So resolution of registering, they found it extremely difficult to log in, also getting their money. So somewhere, of course, this is just a beginning. I don't do proper. Sorry, once again, I said neither can you help nor can I help. But that's the input I would like to give it to Vasu. Please take back to NSDC. Please find out what solutions we can find to this. I'm sure it's an amazing kind of a scheme. With all the things that Vasu has said, with whatever I am saying, we have experienced. If industries start maybe going in for more and more for this, it will benefit everyone. It benefits industry, it benefits individual because he becomes a more skilled or a better person. It on the whole supports the industry and it supports nation. So in interest of the nation, my only request to you all is please understand it properly. Please take decision. In case you have difficulties, please approach right people and get your problems resolved. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. You know, your endeavors are always unique at L&T. We would surely like to hear further on what you have to tell to the industries and training partners going forward, maybe in the next part of the webinar. But here it becomes very imperative, you know, at this juncture to understand how apprenticeship programs are regulated at sector skill councils for optional trade. Sir has been telling about non-designated trades. We also tell it as optional trades, non-designated or optional trades. So MEPSC is a sector skill council and a joint apprenticeship advisor for apprenticeship program. The prime objective of MEPSC is to create relevant NSQF aligned qualification frameworks, including building the capacities of the trainers, as well as doing assessment and certification for skills which people acquire. I would like to take you through a few of the slides for the sake of the audience to make people understand how are we contributing in this skilling ecosystem. If I can have the next slide, please. Yeah. So Management and Entrepreneurship and Professional Skill Council, which we normally say MEPSC in short, started its operation in 2015, where we are mandated to create programs, skilling programs around training and assessment, office management, professional skills, which also includes security sector in it, employability and entrepreneurship, and non-teaching sector job roles in education sector. Just to tell you all, Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal is our chairman, with IIM Ahmedabad Director, ISB Dean, Narsi Munji Vice Chancellor, are all on the board of MEPSC. In fact, NSDC ranked us as 5th amongst all the sector skill councils on the business plan in 18-19, and NSDC also ranked us at the 9th position in apprenticeship program last year, which concluded on 31st of March 2020. Can we get a new slide? Yeah. So journey so far has been quite interesting. We have created 33 industry relevant qualification packs, and we are the first sector skill council to create 6 independent national occupational standards. While I said that we keep on building capacity, we have created trainers around 3,700 plus, with 4 super trainers also built in, who actually go and train and build capacity of these trainers. In terms of apprenticeship contracts, till now we have done 3,400 plus contracts for apprentices in management as well as security sector put together. If you see the industry partnership, we have around 600 plus such industry partners with us who do various kinds of programs with us. And in fact, we have also identified 47 best-in-class employers with whom we do a lot of skilling program, a lot of activities with them, and they are our placement partners. We keep on doing demand aggregation with them, and based on their demand, we try and meet their demands in terms of building the workforce. Till now, we have conducted around 4 lakh plus assessments through our robust platform, which we have created very diligently and over a period of time now. Next. So it is very important that what do we do, what Sector Skill Council do in apprenticeship program. First thing is we approve training centers. There are industry which come across and say, we want to train the candidates, we will set up our own training center. So the Sector Skill Council as apprentice advisors approves the training centers. Second, it serves as joint apprenticeship advisor. It regulates the program which is under optional trade for companies which are operational in more than 4 states. Third, we approve the contracts. We do termination approvals. We settle all the disputes which can arise between the establishment and the apprentice. Fourth, we do claim reimbursement for the industries, because you have heard Basu saying every month you can get stipend reimbursement up to 1,500 rupees. So we are the authorizer of those stipend claims which the industries submit to us. Fifth, we do curriculum assessment certification. So primary objective is to certify candidates on a particular curriculum. So we are certifying those apprentices. And the most important part is creation of new job roles, which can be included in the apprenticeship portal. And based on those curriculums, these apprentices can be hired and can continue their learning before they move out to the labor market. Can we move? So these are the curriculums. These are the 10 curriculums which we have created for the industry, validated by the industry itself. Starting from assistant human resource, recruitment executive, secretary, office assistant, then different roles on contracts and procurement, finance and accounts. We also have security with us. So unarmed security guard is one of the curriculum which is uploaded. Just to tell you that security is the second largest employable sector in India, with 8.9 million workforce, which is already there in private security. So there's a huge scope in apprenticeship program while we can hire unarmed security guards as apprentice. Other programs are like field survey enumerator and marketing executives. So these are the curriculums which are readily available in the portal, apprenticeship portal, which Vasu referred in his presentation. So it is very well there for the industry, and industry can go and refer to these curriculum. Next slide, please. So if you see, these are our industry partners where the apprentice contracts are there. Seeing the diversity of MEPSC, you can see oil and gas companies there. You see hotel industry there. You see security industry there. So all kinds of industries, since we cut across all sectors, these companies, these industry partners have taken these roles, these apprentice roles, and recruited apprentice inside the organization. So MEPSC has got a diverse range of courses, and each industry has such roles in their own system. So you can very well hire apprentice, engage apprentice in these job roles. Next. So, the best part is we are guided by Mr. Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal, who is actually the guiding force of MEPSC, who has been relentlessly striving to ensure that we do things differently without compromising the quality of work which we are supposed to do. So I will invite Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal to give us the way forward. But before he starts speaking, it is imperative to know the credentials. Though it is, let's hear the credentials. Colonel Pokhriyal has a diverse professional experience with 2 or more decades across 2 continents in the fields of project management, operations management, business development, procurement, UN peacekeeping, and skill development. He blended successfully in corporate sector with skill development in construction industry after serving the army. Having been commissioned in the course of engineer in June 1991. Prior to joining MEPSC, he was the head operations of Construction Skill Development Council of India for 2 years. He led MEPSC to be awarded and recognized by 2 prestigious Scotch awards, Silver Award and Order of Merit in 2020. Colonel Pokhriyal himself is the recipient of Skill Leadership Award 2020 Gold category in the skill ecosystem. He is a National Merit Scholar. He graduated from Delhi University. He obtained his BTech from College of Military Engineering, Pune in 1998 and did his Masters from University of Madras in 2003. So I leave it to Colonel Sir to take us through the way forward and how he looks at apprenticeship program to be around MEPSC.
Thank you. Thank you, Santosh, for introducing and for organizing this event on behalf of MEPSC. You have been the backbone for MEPSC as far as apprenticeship is concerned since last year. And I want to thank Shane Saab. Shane Saab has been the driving force from L&T, not only for the construction sector, but also for the entire SSC skilling ecosystem in NSDC. और जैसे मैं देख पा रहा हूँ कि बहुत सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि हमें हिंदी का भी यूज करना चाहिए, तो मैं हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों का यूज करूंगा ताकि आप सबको मैं अपनी बातें आपके समक्ष रख सकूं। तो शाने साहब का बहुत बड़ा धन्यवाद इस इवेंट को ग्रेस करने के लिए और हम लोगों को मार्गदर्शन देने के लिए। शाने साहब इंडिया की सबसे बड़ी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनी को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं और उसमें सबसे ऊंचे पद पर ये विराजमान रह चुके हैं। शाने साहब बहुत ही कर्मठ आदमी हैं जिन्होंने सही मार्गदर्शन देकर एनएसडीसी को, सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल को और एमईपीएससी को भी हमारा मार्गदर्शन करते हैं। तो धन्यवाद सर आपका बहुत बहुत आज हमारे इवेंट को इस हद तक सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए। और जैसा मैं देख पा रहा हूँ हमारे पास 267 पार्टिसिपेंट जुड़ चुके थे और दिस इज अ मैटर ऑफ प्राइड फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस इन एमईपीएससी एंड टीम आईविल एंड ऑल्सो कर्टसी एल&टी। जैसा अभी आप लोगों को वासु ने बताया, एंड थैंक यू वासु फॉर ज्वाइनिंग इन एंड गिविंग एक्सीलेंट प्रेजेंटेशन एंड ओवरव्यू। आपने पूरा विश्व के साथ इंडिया को कंपेयर करके बताया कि अभी हमारे को कितना और आगे काम करना है। तो हमारे को वो सब बताने के लिए और हमारे को अभी जो पुराने एक्ट में और नए एक्ट में सरकार ने जो चेंजेस किए हैं उसके बारे में जो आपने बताया, धन्यवाद आपका। एंड इट हैज रियली बीन वेरी बेनिफिशियल एंड आई एम श्योर बिकॉज वी हैव एकेडमिया अटेंडिंग अस, जैसे राष्ट्रीय शक्ति स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी है हमारे पास जो कि गुजरात से है, जो हमारे एस्टीम पार्टनर हैं, और बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस, ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर्स, असेसमेंट एजेंसीज एंड सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज, हमारे जो मैनेजमेंट के ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर्स हैं, आप सबका ज्वाइन करने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जैसा आपको मिस्टर वासु ने बताया और मिस्टर शाहने साहब ने बताया कि अप्रेंटिसशिप हमारे देश के लिए कितना जरूरी है और उसके क्या क्या फायदे हैं, चाहे वो आपको ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए हो, चाहे वो इंडिविजुअल के लिए हो, उसके सारे फायदे आपको बताए। एज फार एज आपका एंट्री क्वालिफिकेशन क्या है, आपका कोर्स सिलेक्शन क्या है, आपको कितने दिन का ट्रेनिंग करना है, तो उसका कोर्स करिकुलम कौन डिसाइड करेगा, इंडस्ट्री डिसाइड करेगी, ऑप्शनल ट्रेड है, डेजिग्नेटेड ट्रेड्स है, आपको कितना स्टाइपेंड मिलेगा, जो बेसिक ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर्स हैं उनको कितना पैसा मिलेगा, जो ट्रेनीज हैं अप्रेंटिसेस हैं उनको कितना स्टाइपेंड मिलेगा, उससे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कितना % फायदा होगा, एंड हाउ मेनी अप्रेंटिसेस एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैन टेक। इस सरकार का ये बहुत बड़ा कदम है जो उन्होंने अप्रेंटिसशिप एक्ट में जो चेंजेस किए हैं, दैट इज फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द एंटायर सेक्टर। एंड हमारे कंट्री में बहुत बड़ा स्कोप है, क्योंकि हमारी जो वर्कफोर्स है उसका करीबन 15% हम लोग अपना अप्रेंटिसेस हायर कर सकते हैं, 2 to 15%। ये सारी बातें आपको वासु साहब ने अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में बताई हैं और शाहने साहब ने अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में बताया है कि किस तरीके से इंडस्ट्री L&T जैसी जो बहुत बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है वो किस तरीके से अपने ट्रेनीज को लेकर, और जैसे उन्होंने बताया वो खुद भी अप्रेंटिसेस प्रोग्राम के थ्रू आए थे, ग्रेजुएट इंजीनियर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम के थ्रू, एंड कितने सबसे ऊपर ओहदे तक पहुंचे हैं। What I would like to tell and exhort all participants, all decision makers and all leaders here that MEPSC, as told by Santosh, we are working in the areas of management and security. तो जैसे आप लोगों को 10 जॉब रोल के बारे में जो करिकुलम हमने बनाया है उसके बारे में ये प्रोग्राम अभी हमने बनाए हैं। इसके अलावा भी अगर आगे समय में जरूरत पड़ेगी तो वी विल मेक द रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, उनके हिसाब से करिकुलम बनाएंगे और वो प्रोग्राम्स में हम अप्रेंटिसेस एक्ट में अप्रेंटिसेस में यूज करेंगे। जो अगर हम अभी बात करें, हमारा अभी तक पिछले साल हमने शुरू किया मैनेजमेंट सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल ने, हमने 3400 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन किए एंड वी हैव मोर देन 600 पार्टनर्स। आज मेरे को बहुत खुशी हो रही है, बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज हमारे साथ जुड़ी हैं, करीबन 13 यूनिवर्सिटीज एंड कॉलेजेस अक्रॉस इंडिया वी हैव एडेड, और जिसमें जैसे भारतीयार यूनिवर्सिटी है कोयम्बटूर की, उसके साथ हमने एक MOU करार साइन किया है जिसके अंदर 190 colleges are there. So what MEPSC is doing, MEPSC apprentices को एक नए लेवल तक ले जाना चाह रही है। We have got many academic partners, जैसे हमने बताया रक्षा शक्ति यूनिवर्सिटी है जो कि अभी एक सेंटर ऑफ एक एमिनेंट यूनिवर्सिटी बनने वाली है। वी आर होपफुल इसी पार्लियामेंट सेशन में उसको ये मंजूरी मिल जाएगी एंड इट विल बी अ नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एमिनेंस और उसको एक यूनिक दर्जा मिलेगा। तो वो हमारे पार्टनर हैं, उनके साथ मिलके हम अप्रेंटिसेस एक्ट में हम अप्रेंटिसेस हायर कराएंगे और हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कैंडिडेट्स को कंपनीज को सर्व करना चाहते हैं, सर्विस देना चाहते हैं। अगर आप लोग या आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कहीं पर भी आपको, जैसे संतोष की प्रेजेंटेशन में आपने देखा होगा, अगर जो हमारे पार्टनर्स हैं वो पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट से लेके हमारे प्राइवेट पार्टनर्स एंड प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, नामी गिरामी कंपनियां हमारे साथ जुड़ी हैं। ये जैसे आप देख पा रहे हैं, एक तरफ अगर हम PSUs की बात करें तो BHEL, गेल, एयरपोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी, इंडियन ऑयल, राइट्स, और अगर हम प्राइवेट कंपनीज की बात करें फार्मास्यूटिकल में कैडिला है, सैमसोनाइट है, सिक्योरिटी में चेकमेट, कॉस्मोस, CISS है, टीमलीज इज वर्किंग विद अस, होटल इंडस्ट्री में हॉलीडे इन इज विद अस एंड these many organizations which are there. अगर आप देखें Sodexo है, फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनीज आर देयर, सूरत म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के साथ हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, ONGC के साथ, पावर ग्रिड के साथ हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। सो वी आर सर्विसिंग दी कटिंग अक्रॉस ऑल दी सेक्टर्स। सो व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू टेल यू इज, हम लोग मैनेजमेंट और सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर में बहुत एम्बिशियस प्रोग्राम लेकर आ रहे हैं इस साल। वी वुड लाइक ऑल our partners, starting from academia to private and public sector units and all other partners, including training partners, to join hands with us and let's take this exercise. इस एक्सरसाइज को एक नए मुकाम तक लेकर चलते हैं. उसमें हमारे को आपके साथ और आपके सपोर्ट की जरूरत होगी. और मैं चाहूंगा कि आप लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा संख्या में हमारे साथ जुड़े, क्योंकि जैसे आपने अगर वासु की प्रेजेंटेशन में देखा होगा, इसमें कितने फायदे हैं ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर को, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को, और आपके ऊपर कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं है. जहां तक हमारे सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर का सवाल है, जैसे मैं पढ़ पा रहा हूँ, ब्रिगेडियर मान ने एक सवाल पूछा कि हमारे को पीएफ और ईएसआई का जो जरूरत होती है वो हमारे सिक्योरिटी इंडस्ट्री में उसको अभी तक लागू नहीं कर पा रहे हैं हम, क्योंकि हमारे पास 89 लाख वर्कफोर्स है सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर में, विच इज द सेकंड लार्जेस्ट मैन पावर ओरिएंटेड सेक्टर. अगर हम कुछ पॉलिसी चेंजेस लाके, तो यहाँ पे मैं वासु से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ टीम एनएसडीसी इस रिक्वेस्ट को एक मिनिस्ट्री और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया लेवल तक ले जाएं, बिकॉज वी नीड सम पॉलिसी चेंजेस जिसमें कि हम जो अप्रेंटिसेस हैं उनको हम गार्ड, अनआर्म सिक्योरिटी गार्ड या आर्म सिक्योरिटी गार्ड के तौर पर उनको हम शॉप फ्लोर पे लगा सके. ये सपोर्ट हमें एनएसडीसी और मिनिस्ट्री से चाहिए होगा फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ आवर सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर. और जिसमें अगर हम 15% की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो ऑलमोस्ट हमारे पास करीबन 14-15 लाख हम अप्रेंटिसेस सिर्फ एक सेक्टर में ही हम हायर कर सकते हैं. तो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ऑल्सो टू ट्विक सम नॉर्म्स, क्योंकि जो क्लाइंट्स हैं वो सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज के इस कथन को, जो कि आपने हमारे को एडवाइस किया कि किस तरीके से हम प्रोविडेंट फंड और ईएसआई को हम देना चाहें तो दे सकते हैं, और ईएसआई के लिए हम ग्रुप मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस ले सकते हैं, वो इट इज नॉट कटिंग आइस विद द क्लाइंट्स मेजरली, एंड दैट इज अ रीजन व्हिच इज actually preventing security companies, agencies to hire more apprentices. So we would request some support here from Vasu and his team, and हम चाहेंगे कि इस बात को हम आगे ले जाएं और इसका एक बढ़िया पॉलिसी डिसीजन, फेवरेबल पॉलिसी डिसीजन हम अपने सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर के लिए ले आए. और जैसा मैं देख पा रहा हूँ हमारे पास बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हमारे पास आ चुके हैं. I would request Santosh and Santosh to take it up during the question answer session. And एक और अभी क्वेश्चन आया है मिस्टर सुनील रैना का, to allow ESI and PF. सेम क्वेश्चन है कि हम जैसे बात कर रहे हैं कि सिक्योरिटी सेक्टर में हमारे को ESI और PF is actually precluding us to hire maximum number of apprentices. Otherwise जो हमारे जो बाकी जॉब रोल्स हैं, मैनेजमेंट के जॉब रोल्स, उसमें इस साल हमने 3,400 कर चुके हैं पिछले साल, और इस साल हम कम से कम 10,000 कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स साइन करने के लिए तैयार हैं. तो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट संतोष टू टेक इट फॉरवर्ड.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. These words of wisdom will surely motivate more and more institutions, more and more apprentices to choose the apprenticeship program and learn domain skills, work etiquettes, cultures before they actually hit the labor market. Now, there's an overwhelming response in terms of chat box. We are trying to segregate that. In the meantime, may I request Mr. Ashok Shahane sir to advise on few of the topics which you want to give it to the industry with your experience, to the academia, to the training partners on the benefits of apprenticeship program. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Santosh, it's already 5:10. I will not take much of time, but this is something very important and useful. I thought let me take a few minutes on this. See, a promotional strategy, we said it's an amazing kind of a scheme. It should get promoted. It must have a high acceptance, but it is not getting acceptance. How do we go about? Now, there are 4 areas I have identified. Let me first take the right top column. Old industries. When I say old industries, the present industries, the industries who are presently taking apprentice. We made a mention that it is 2.5 to 15% is the band in which they can take. How many of these industries today might be taking 2.5%, 3, 4%. They are the ones who are convinced about apprenticeship. They are the ones who know how to log in. They have already got affiliated. They have already started. The low-lying fruit, if you personally ask me, is to go to all these 600 industries, find out what percentage of apprentice they are taking, and how this can be increased to a maximum of 15% or whatever is allowed under present circumstances. My personal feeling is this is the low-lying fruit. This is the easiest thing. There are two possibilities. Quite a few of the industries might have. Yeah. म्यूट पे चलिए जी, म्यूट पे चलिए, इनके समन्स। एक हो सकता है यदि वो 2.53% अप्रेंटिस उसने लिए हुए हैं, एंड इफ दीज पीपल आर नॉट गिविंग गुड कंट्रीब्यूशन टू दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वो तो दैट इंडस्ट्री विल बोले यार ये कहाँ से अप्रेंटिस इन्होंने दिए, ये MAPSC ने, वो आ गए और बैठते गप्पे मार रहे, कुछ काम नहीं हो रहा है. So really speaking, it depends on what kind of preparedness you do of the apprentice who are going to the 600 industries. If they are not well prepared, if you do not, you need to spend some time. It can be on webinar or whatever it is, but tell them how important it is for them to go there and do a good job, create a good impression, because one entry of theirs, a good job, may give opportunity for two people to join the same industry. अच्छा काम करेगा तो कोई भी बोलेगा भैया कौन से इंडस्ट्री से आया भैया, मेरे को तो और 4 लोग लाके दो ऐसे. इट्स अ ग्रेट जॉब व्हिच इज हैपनिंग. So let's focus on what is it these apprentices are doing. 6,000 apprentices, whatever those numbers, see to it that they do a good job. As a result, satisfaction level goes up, and the same industries against 2.5% may increase it to 5%, 10% to 15%. This is one strategy that can easily be adopted. Here, it's not only the SSC, the training partners also play a very critical role. You under PMKVY or for whatever reason, you want to ensure highest level of placement. Now, a few people who are placed into an organization, you might be today placing, let's say 20% of the people. If these people create a good impression, if they are well trained and create a good impression, against 20%, tomorrow it will become 30%, 40%, 50%. Who has to take an effort? In our own interest, hami ko lena hai wo effort. Training partners will have to take those efforts. This is the first part. Then we come to new partners. So many people who have not started apprenticeship in their organization. क्या कर सकते हैं भाई? सबसे पहले तो एक अवेयरनेस उनको हमको देना पड़ेगा, एंड उसमें सबसे पहला है वेबिनार्स जो कंडक्ट हो रहे आज. जैसे बहुत आसान सा तरीका है, बहुत इफेक्टिव तरीका है लोगों तक अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाने का. लेट्स डू दैट. इट इज नॉट वेरी कॉस्टली, इट इज नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट, and some such webinars will definitely go a long way. I have no doubts about it. इसके साथ साथ में हम सब लोगों को मालूम है आज के दिन में सोशल मीडिया plays a very very important role in communication. I don't know to what extent are we making use of that, and that is where we really need to build on. As a result, a big way communication, mass communication should start getting spread, and more interest should start getting created. Hey, kya bhaiya apprenticeship? Can I know from where can I know, and things like that, and the messages keep going. अभी सवाल ऐसा आ जाता है काम कौन करे? एक्चुअल इंडस्ट्री में जाके इंडस्ट्री को कन्विंस करना, अवेयरनेस आ गया, उसको जाके बात करना, उससे काम करा लेना, उसको रजिस्टर करना. दैट इज वेयर इफ यू रियली आस्क मी, नीचे के 2 बॉक्सेस आ जाते हैं. सबसे पहला मेरे को यदि पूछोगे तो इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशंस. आप CII की बात करो, FICCI की बात करो, एसोकेम की बात करो, जेम एंड ज्वेलरी की बातें करो, ऑटोमोटिव एसोसिएशन की बात. देयर आर सो मेनी बिग एसोसिएशन. I would even go beyond. There are very very small regional associations. भाई आप चले जाओ नागपुर में तो विदर्भ इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन है, आप चले जाओ और कहीं पे तो मराठवाड़ा इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन, ऐसे अमृतसर में रहेंगे, हर जगह पे एसोसिएशन है. इनको किस हिसाब से आप साथ में लेते? बिकॉज ये एसोसिएशन इट बिकम्स ए स्पोक एंड हब काइंड ऑफ ए मॉडल. आप कहां तक हर एक इंडस्ट्री के पास पहुंचोगे? इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट, इफ यू मेक इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन एज हब्स, they will connect with their partners. Even aapke I think all so many sector skill councils have so many associations as your members. So unko yadi aap aapke sath loge, unko yadi aapke extended arms banaoge, they will start going to industries, they will become your ambassadors. एंड वो उन लोगों को कन्विंस करके ले आएंगे। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मेरे हिसाब से रूट रहेगा। दूसरा रूट तो मैं सिंपल कहता हूं, आज हमारे इसमें प्रोग्राम में काफी ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर जुड़े होंगे। दे आर डूइंग ए ग्रेट जॉब ऑफ ट्रेनिंग इंडिविजुअल्स। लाखों में ट्रेन होते हैं और हजारों में बच्चे अप्रेंटिस में प्लेस हो रहे। क्यों है? हर बच्चा अप्रेंटिस बोलने लगने में क्या दिक्कत है? जहां पे भी बच्चा जा रहा होगा, जो भी परसेंटेज है, why don't we convince those people instead of taking him on employment, he is taken as an apprentice? वासु ने बताया हुआ ये पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, मैं मेरे इसमें मेंशन नहीं किया था। हमारे खुद के यहाँ पे एक रिटेंशन जो है वो बहुत रिड्यूस हो गया था, rather separation, retention had increased, construction trade in particular, जहाँ पे ये लोग आते हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के थ्रू और 2-3 महीने में चले जाते हैं, वहां पे हमारा रिटेंशन बहुत इंक्रीज हो चुका था। ये एक मेजर बेनिफिट है। ये इसमें दूसरा मेजर बेनिफिट ये भी रहेगा, इंडस्ट्रीज को आप बोलोगे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे मत लो भैया, आप अप्रेंटिस के नाम से आपके नाम पे लो। तो जब भी लार्सन एंड ट्यूब्रो थर्ड पार्टी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से लेती है तो बच्चा उतना एक्साइटेड नहीं है जितना वो हम कहते हैं हम आपको अप्रेंटिस करके लेते। लार्सन एंड ट्यूब्रो लेती है तो जल्दी से आता है। सो आपके नाम की बदौलत आपको अट्रैक्ट करना भी आसान जाएगा। तो इंडस्ट्रीज को बोलो भैया ये बच्चों को आप अप्रेंटिस के अंडर ही ले लीजिए। ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर्स मस्ट डू ए बिग कैंपेनिंग फॉर दिस अप्रेंटिसशिप। इससे उनका खुद का प्लेसमेंट भी इंप्रूव हो जाएगा, बिकॉज इंडस्ट्रीज गेट सो मेनी एडवांटेज along with it. The third one is of course TPAs के बारे में बात किया। We have IWIL who's the organizer here. These are the people who, ठीक है, this might be a business model, but that is a social business model that they are venture they have created, which is a great kind of a venture. They are the one who will facilitate. सबसे दिक्कत है, मेरे जैसे को पूछोगे तो मैं बोला एफिलिएशन का, यार ऑनलाइन एफिलिएशन, there are quite a few people like us. Some people might be comfortable, I may not be comfortable. Affiliation, registration करो बच्चों का, and so if that part can be taken out by someone and say okay I will handle it for you, I think that also will reduce their headache to a great extent and they may move forward. And last but not the least, I would say help desks or call centers are must. मैं यदि अपने घर से कर रहा हूँ, कुछ छोटा सा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, आई एम थिंकिंग ऑफ पुटिंग सम पीपल ऑन अप्रेंटिसशिप, आई लैंड अप विद प्रॉब्लम, वेयर डू आई गो टू? तो मेरे को कहीं हेल्प डेस्क चाहिए, कॉल सेंटर चाहिए। फॉर्चुनेटली हमारे पास 600 प्लस PMK के सेंटर्स है। आई थिंक दैट्स ए मैसेज फॉर वासु. We are thinking of how do we utilize those. Those are the great kind of centers. We are thinking of counseling to be done there. We are thinking of so many. Why is it that these centers do not become the help desk for apprenticeship also? Can we think in terms of creating some call center, engage in some call center on which you just give a call on 1800 number and indicate the problem and someone comes back to you and comes with an answer. तो बेसिकली हम लोगों तक अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करेंगे, लोग खुश हो जाएंगे, आएंगे फॉरवर्ड, देन वी विल हैव टू हेल्प देम इन कमिंग ऑन बोर्ड। ये होते हुए हमारे को जो भी हर्डल्स है वो हर्डल्स हमको ओवर करने के लिए वे मशीनरी पुटअप करनी पड़ेगी, हेल्प डेस्क लगाने पड़ेंगे, कॉल सेंटर्स लगाने पड़ेंगे। माय फीलिंग इज if we are in a position to do all this, we will definitely be able to do a great promotion. ये एक मेरा aspect था. The second important aspect that we need to, can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please, Santosh. Yeah, let's know one very clear thing. What is a apprentice scheme actually? What is the purpose of it? हमने अब तक सिर्फ बात की अप्रेंटिस स्कीम है, आपको आसानी से बच्चे मिलते, ले जाइए उन्हें, सस्ते में मिलते, देयर आर सो मेनी एडवांटेजेस. सी गोज विदाउट सेइंग, मैंने आई मेड ए बिगिनिंग कि अप्रेंटिस स्कीम से मेरे को बहुत फायदा हो गया. आई कुड मेक माय करियर बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, बिकॉज कंपनी गेव लॉट ऑफ टाइम एंड हेल्प मी इन डेवलपमेंट. तो सब तरीके से काम होने को ना, द स्टूडेंट शुड गो देयर एंड इंश्योर that उस जो वो पैसा लेके जा रहा है वहां से उससे ज्यादा contribution he must give to that organization. He must be worried about quality, cost, productivity in that organization. ये किस्सा हमारे ट्रेनिंग पार्टनर्स को बच्चों के माइंड में डीप डालना पड़ेगा. So they must be worried about organization and organization must be worried about them. मैं भले ही उनसे लो कॉस्ट वाला मैन पावर करके हायर करूं उसको, लेकिन I can't forget that I owe some responsibility to this boy. I need to train him adequately so that he becomes within 2 years during the training period ये एक बड़ा आदमी बन जाएगा और आगे चल के मेरे यहाँ रहेगा तो अच्छा ही काम करेगा और कहीं जाएगा तो वहां पे भी अच्छा काम करेगा. ये प्रोसेस काफी जगह पे इंडिविजुअल बच्चे को बोलोगे, इसको बोलोगे, that's okay, but may not happen. जिसके लिए if there is some monitoring which is possible, monitoring I would say, if there is something, maybe every 3 months sector skill council might be having some process, I am not aware of it, but it is extremely important that it is not only on papers but genuinely the monitoring happens. और कहीं इंडस्ट्री ठीक से उसको यदि ट्रेनिंग नहीं दे रही है, we should not hesitate in going and telling the industry, भैया थोड़ा कुछ तो भी, इसका जो रिपोर्ट आया है बच्चे का, he did not learn anything, वो उसको आप जेरोक्सिंग निकालने के बगैर कुछ नहीं बताते थे, वही काम किया उसने पूरे 2 साल के लिए. So somewhere we will have to take that lead, and smooth registration is key success factor as it comes to. I have 2 small suggestions to be made towards end. One is ITI में after the ITI pass out, students come as apprentice in an industry under the designated trade, and once they complete it, they appear for a NCVT exam and get a NCVT certificate which is rated very high. Now our students also, when they pass out at maybe level 4 NSQF level 3 or level 4 whatever it is, they join an industry as apprentice. After the apprenticeship is over, my personal feeling is, if they are given an opportunity for appearing for assessment of 1 level higher kind of a certification, and they acquire that certification, a seriousness will come in this apprenticeship program from the student side also, and they will be motivated in coming forward. That's one suggestion. Maybe for SSC, NSDC, I may not be aware. That's another thing that I would like to share. And if there is some mentoring, there are so many senior people, so many people aware. Look into possibilities of mentoring to be given to organizations for apprenticeship mentoring or things like that. If that can be done, my personal feeling is if we will do lot good to industries, we will do lot good to the individuals, the trainee individuals. And whatever we all are dreaming, we should be in a position to reach there, is my confidence level. Thank you so much. Thanks, Santosh. That's end of it.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the best practices which can be adopted by the industries, academic institutions, and training partners. We have more than 90 questions altogether, so which we will not be able to take it because of the paucity of time. We have exceeded by 25 minutes now. So for the sake of audience, we will take all the queries and create an answer from the panelist and circulate it to all the attendees. So that's what we will do. Because of time extension, I'll just now pass on to Vinny Rawal, who is our partner, from IWIL, to convey a vote of thanks to all who have attended out of this seminar. Vinny, for you now to conclude.
Thank you so much, sir. I must say this session was very enriching. Let me first take this opportunity to thank Colonel Anil Kumar Pokhriyal, sir, Chief Executive Officer, MEPSC, who actually allowed IWIL to partner in this journey to create awareness apprentices program for bringing the industry and academia together. MEPSC, as we all know, has been agnostic sector skill council as it cuts across all sectors and is playing a pivotal role in overall development of employable workforce. IWIL has been in skilling ecosystem and has partnered with many sector skill council for organizing these webinar and such programs on a pro bono basis. And we recently concluded one of the sessions with CSDCI on bringing back construction workers to empower our Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative and make it a success. And we have been creating such more webinars which we like to keep updated everybody about. But I must sincerely thank Ashok Shane, sir, who immediately, when consented, he agreed for being the speaker and has been extremely kind to support us as and when needed. His ages of experience from being an apprentice to a business leader shows how apprentice can be more productive and can grow up within a work culture when proper guidance is given. And I'm also sure future apprentice would look forward to his success story to enroll themselves for the program. And my sincere thanks to Vasu Sharma sir also for detailing the apprentice program in such simple words. I extend my heartfelt thanks to efforts put in by the entire team at MEPSC. I remember them sending all emails so that all the participants can be here. And they have worked together to build.
Vinny, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Sorry. So I was saying my sincere thanks to Vasu Sharma sir for detailing the apprentice program in such simple words, and I extend my heartfelt thanks to the efforts put in by entire team at MEPSC who have worked together to bring this event where we are as of now. And last but not the least, thanks to all the participants from various industries and institutions who have registered and attended the program, irrespective of them being on mute or not on mute, but they have been a good audience here. And we are sure that the skill-based program getting impetus at higher education institution as per the new educational policy would help add more apprentices in the days to come. This webinar wouldn't have been success without your participation, and Team I-Will is just a call away from you in case you need anything from us. Thank you so much for being part of today's event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Gratitude.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Shane, sir.
Thanks, Shane sir.
Thank you,
Vasu,
Shane,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Varun, sir.
Vinny.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank